One. अस्सलाम वालेकुम वरहमतुल्लाह व्यूअर्स, वंस अगेन एक मरतबा फिर मोहम्मद अली आपके साथ हाजिर खिदमत है। और इस दफ़ा एज प्रोमिस्ड स्टार्टिंग ऑफ माय स्पोर्ट्स बैठक, एंड द फर्स्ट गेस्ट ऑफ माय स्पोर्ट्स बैठक टुडे is an internationally ranked squash player from Egypt. She is UAE number one. She's a wife. She is sister of the current world champion of squash. She is an amazing player herself, ranked world number 87 at one time, going up every day, inshallah, improving her ranking as well. Let's welcome her without further ado on live with us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Farah, how are you?
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. I'm fine, very well as well. I think there is a little bit of a lag we are having on the internet, but it's okay. We'll have to bear with it for some time.
Yeah. No, I think it's okay.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, it's okay now. So, how is it going for in UAE? Is it still a lockdown situation where you are practicing at home, kind of a thing, or clubs are open now?
Well, actually, luckily, it started opening around 2 weeks ago. Before it was
Okay.
a complete lockdown, like 24 hours in the house.
Hmm.
So the squash is a bit going back to normal, and the gyms, even the masks are off. We can train without masks, so that makes you like train properly. You can do like very high intensity workout. It's fine. So even in Egypt, like my fellow the people playing squash as well, they're still in lockdown. So hopefully their squash
So
open too.
you're,
In
you're
Europe,
you're getting better chances to practice, inshallah.
exactly. I'm trying to take the chance.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Farah, as I discussed with you over the phone when we were discussing today's Baythak. First, let
Yeah.
me tell you, Baythak in Urdu means a sitting. So the reason we are sitting here, so we call it Baythak. So that's why it's called sports Baythak. Viewers, Farah is from Egypt originally, and her brother, as I mentioned, is current world champion. And squash is something which has been in the blood of Egyptians and Pakistanis for many years. The rule have been shifting from here and there at times. Right now, it's been the Egyptian rule for a long time, and that's her brother is one of those commanders of the game, and mashallah, she's also doing very well. Farah, squash was initially considered to be a men's game, right? So, what brought you in squash?
Um, so I was playing gymnastics for a while before my brother started playing squash, and then I stopped gymnastics and I got more interested in playing squash, especially that my father used to play well, and my brother after him he was training, and then we felt like the whole family should all play the same sport so we can concentrate more there. So, and I was really happy to play there. So I started right after my brother. This is how I started.
Mashallah.
Yeah.
Mashallah. And Farah, my first question to you regarding being an international squash player, a high ranked squash player, and UAE's number one female squash player. Uh, how much time do you spend? First of all, what do you think squash is played by your physical strength and physical support and physical practice, or it has something to do with mental as well?
I think it's a combination of both. Of course, lately the physicality is starting to get me even more aggressive. Like everybody's training a lot of fitness and weights and everything. So everybody's very fit. So you need to be really prepared to that. But on the other hand, the mental part is extremely important. Like if you have all the physicality of the world and you don't have the mental strength, you will not be able to succeed in such a sport.
Okay, and what does it mean by when you say mental strength? I mean, what does it mean to you? Can you define?
Ah, so from my my minimal understanding of the mental aspect is that you need to be prepared to the matches because the matches you are in a a completely different environment than training. Like you can be training really well, and then in the match, you suddenly feel like you're in another place. You can't play your squash. You're not focused. So I think you need to be more prepared to even start the match and the circumstances of the match itself. Like many things happen inside the match that can change your mind right away. So you need to always be focused and be there. I think this needs a lot of training as well, not only physical. So, yeah.
Okay, that's actually a very interesting point because I was going to come to this one after that. However, since you brought this point here right now, so when you say it needs a lot of training, how much time do you spend on your physical training?
My physical training. Well, usually I have, and the normal day I train around 6 days a week. 2 days I train around 1 to 2 hours. That's the days where I'm resting a little bit. And the rest of the days I train around 4 hours. 4 hours
Okay.
to 5 hours maximum.
And how much time do you spend on your mental training, mental strengthening, mental fitness, mental visualization? By the way, do you even know all of these terminologies, and how much time do you give them?
So I actually know them, but to be completely honest, I don't think I'm giving them the proper time. Like I sometimes do it right before the matches, which is a bit useless because I should be preparing for it even before that, right? Like a month or two, and I'm not doing that. So it doesn't work that much. It should be more often. Like I should be training myself more often all the time, so I can be prepared. Like the physical, I think it's as important as the physical training. So if I'm doing physical around 4 hours a day, I should have like at least 1 hour mental training in the day, I guess.
So what stops you from that?
I don't think I have the. I'm not sure. I think that many people are not really focusing on that, and I don't have the backup, or I mean the support in this area specifically. So I don't know where to go. Sometimes if I have it there, someone is pushing me, or I have something that I can go after, I would do it more often. But maybe I'm not sure. I don't want to say laziness, but I think I need just the track to start. That's it.
So do you really think that, I mean, at the level that you are right now, with the current world ranking and being number one in UAE, do you think going from here, only physical efforts are going to take you above, or those people who are above you, they are doing something differently? Even your own brother, who is the current world champion, do you think he does some mental exercise more than probably you would have been doing?
Definitely. I actually know that a huge part of my game is missing because of the mental part. Like I train hard. I think I have good squash. I have good physicality, and I can stand the full 3-2 match. I don't mind doing it. It's always in my head. Like I think my head is always pulling me down a little bit. Like it doesn't give me the push I need to start and finish. It's always going up and down. So no consistency. That's the problem.
Interesting, Farah, and you being an international player from a family of champions. When you are saying this thing, it means that somewhere in the journey of you becoming a champion or becoming a player, there was this missing element from your coaches or from your colleagues, or in general society or environment, that mental strengthening was probably the most missing part in making up of a champion. Is that true?
Yeah, so I think each part has a coach, a proper coach who's responsible for. So squash, I have my coach for squash who's focusing on that aspect. The fitness, I have my fitness coach who's focusing on that aspect. But sometimes I get some like mental tips and stuff from both of them, but I don't get like a proper training from a mental coach who's completely specified in this area. That's what it is.
Excellent. So do you think that anybody who wants to pursue a career in sports should have, like you said, very well, and I must say that a lot of players I have spoken to, they have one coach who is their training coach, who is their fitness coach, who is their mental coach, who is everything. But at least you have a training coach, a fitness coach. You
Yeah.
understand the value. So
Yeah.
do you think that youth who are watching you right now, and who want to be aspiring sportsmen and women, they actually should have a mental coach from the day one they enter into this field?
Definitely. Definitely. Because, the parents usually take that part when you're a young kid, but they're not always aware of what to say in this moment and what to do in this moment. So sometimes, like, they love their children, definitely, but sometimes it goes in the wrong direction without them knowing. So I think there should be someone who's actually an expert in this area who can solve the problems and say the things that the kid needs to hear. So yeah,
Excellent. Because
definitely.
this reminds me of a 14-year-old child, a tennis player who was a national tennis player in UAE. He was originally from Lebanon. He was brought to me by his mother about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
He was always, he was like a person who would always win off the ground, like off the tournament. He would beat anybody. But when it comes to the tournaments, he had never won first match even in any tournament. So the child, when I sat with the child, and you will be amazed for what I'm going to tell you right now, and my audience too, that the advice I gave after my first session to the child was the advice was not to the child. Advice was to the mother. I said, please do not watch his matches. And three matches she did not go and watch, and he won all the three matches in those tournaments. So
Oh,
sometimes it is the pressure that parents build on the
yeah.
child, not
Yeah.
actually the and that actually
Knowing that.
yeah,
Yeah.
without
With,
knowing, out of
like
the
they
love.
yeah.
Yeah, out
Yeah.
of the love. Okay.
Yeah.
Get, Farah, I have a question for you. One of my viewers asked this question of the on my private WhatsApp, that mashallah you are a female international rank player. You are playing all around the world, uh, and you keep your integrity as a Muslimah intact by wearing a hijab. And do you feel that these things at any point in time are any hindrance for your sports?
Uh, well, actually, let me tell you the story short from the beginning. I started wearing hijab when I was around 12 or 13. So
Mashallah.
yeah, and I think I took it step by step. Like I start wearing like trousers only, and then long sleeves, and then I put the hijab last thing because I was preparing for it. And since I never felt like it was holding me back at all, and I believe like even in the junior level I was always in the top four of the Egyptian ranking. I was always going around in the top four until I stopped at some time, and this will go to this point later. But I mean, I never, like, people always tell me like it's too hot. How can you play with the hijab on? And I always feel like it's even giving me more support, with the sweating and all. It's much nicer, to wear it.
Mashallah.
I never felt like I'm tired with it ever. Like
Mashallah.
it's really nice to wear it. I didn't feel like I was struggling with it at all.
Mashallah, that's amazing, because the reason I asked, and this question was asked to me, and I put it to you directly like this. I actually took you off guarded. This was not part of our mental strength, but this actually is a real thing about mental strength, because if something that you believe in is going to bring you better luck, is going to make you a better human, is going to make you a better player, it will. And this is for my audiences. I want you to know nothing will hold you back. And Farah, this is one point I want you also to remember, that if this hijab is something which is inshallah pulling you up, not pushing you down, or rather I would say pushing you up, not pulling you down, trust me, nothing in this world can stop you from here, because this is the biggest hindrance for a lot of female athletes, that who are Muslimas, mashallah, who think that, oh, we cannot do with hijab, it's hot, and how will we do it? So the point I'm trying to make is that this tells me how mentally strong, mashallah, you are, because your mental strength is far above all others who have this thing in their mind, that, oh, maybe the lesser the clothes I have, the better I will play. So you have that strength. It's only that you need to know how to divert the strength of your mental focus from similarly the way you do it in your hijab towards your game, which is my next question to you. When you said you do some mental exercises before the match, normally what exercises do you do?
So I do some calming exercises sometimes. Like if I feel I'm too stressed before the match, I can do like some Zen, was like sitting alone, thinking, trying to push myself out of this area.
Mhm.
And maybe sometimes I try to talk to myself positively, like, you did that, you did this. I try to remind myself of the hard work I did and all the things I was doing well, so that I get in the match and I know that I can do this and I can win, you know. That's mostly what I sometimes do. Sometimes I don't, to be honest, to be completely honest. But yeah, that's mostly what I do.
Do you do warm up when you go for the game? I mean, I remember we both have the same friend. I would say friendship start. I mean, you're playing with Adil Makbul, who's mashallah. You're training with him.
Yeah.
He himself was a world champion in the junior level and stuff. So when we are doing the before the game, before any match, I'm sure he and Mr. Makbul and other of your coaches, they teach you that you have to do warm up. Now you do physical warm up
Mhm.
and you miss mental warm up. Do you think it's justice with the game?
Not really. Like sometimes if I'm too scared, I talk to the coach, but a little bit. It's not always this situation, because sometimes I'm traveling, sometimes there's time difference, and sometimes it's not as easy to contact them. But referring to your question, I don't feel it's fair. No, it's not fair, because you do a lot of training, a lot of training, and yani, it's a shame, honestly, to go to the match and then you do not perform as good as you're performing in the training, yani, as if you're throwing all your hard work away.
Okay. Which takes me to my next question. You know, mental fitness is important.
Yeah.
Have you done anything to actually look for techniques of mental exercising, mental fitness? Have you ever done anything about it intentionally?
I did. Um, um, it wasn't really successful, to be honest, but I tried. I did. So the 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 biggest thing I have is the I definitely still talk to Adil and Coach Makbul, and they give me very good advices about. They already had the experience and everything, so they can help me out with some of the things they already went through. And even my fitness coach read a lot about mental training and all. So when I'm in Egypt, we talk a lot about it. But um, but I tried to contact a couple of therapists as well to go to the professional level, like to have the proper mental training on daily or weekly basis. Unfortunately, it did not work out. I didn't find the person who was willing to commit while abroad and everything, so it wasn't as easy. I tried to read a little bit, of course. I tried to listen to podcasts about mental strengths and ideas and all. But when the ideas are scattered, you don't know where to start and where to end. Every situation has its own pressures and everything. You need to have like the tailored one to
For your
use.
needs?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Farah, there's a question from one of our listeners, Rehan Naim. He's himself a sportsman as well. He's
yeah.
asking, he has two questions basically. It's on your screen. How do you overcome the fear of failure? And his second part is, how does fear of losing impact your performance?
Oh, that's a tough one. um
Let's go
because
one by one. The first one first.
Okay. Um, uh, I overcome the fear of failure. So, to be completely honest as well, it doesn't always work. Sometimes the fear is there and you don't overcome it. You need to do something about it. It doesn't come like you tell yourself you're gonna get over it, and it works.
Sorry, let me stop you here for a second, because this is a very interesting point you just picked up. I want you to imagine and tell me two of your matches. A match where you went in knowing today is my day, and a match where you went in, I'll do my best, I'll try my best. What were the results of the two matches?
Definitely. When I have the spirit of I'm going to do well and I'm playing well and I don't have anything to lose, and this spirit helps me a lot in my game, and definitely it gives me a very good result. Like I mostly win the match, and this happened actually when I had this tournament in China. I was playing to a higher seed. She was 60 in the world, and I felt like I have nothing to lose. She's a good player and I'm a good player, and may the better one played, and that day win. So I played and I kept on grabbing, and to be honest, I in the first game I was up to a game ball and I started to lose, to feel fear again, and I actually lost the game. I had a very big gap and she won the game, and then I went out and I was like, no, you're gonna focus, you're gonna play again well. And so this mental, of course, this mental aspect, when you put it inside the match, it definitely helps a lot. The other match I still remember very well. I was just talking to Adil about it. It was in Pakistan, and I lost to a girl that I never ever lost a game to, and I lost to her 3-love. It was a very unfortunate match. And I played horrible. Like I couldn't even raise the racket because I was too fearful to lose. So I lost. That's the problem. Like I didn't have the proper mental. Come again?
Interesting. So interesting. That's actually where the next question of Rehan is. The fear of losing, it did impact your performance, isn't it?
Of course. But this is when I saw this question, I remembered this match, because it definitely impacted my performance. I could have played much better and win comfortably, but I didn't do that. On the other side, she won comfortably because I wasn't playing half of my game.
How do you, at the time when you were playing in China, what actually calmed you down and brought your focus back?
I went in this match, I was already in the semi-final. I was playing for the final. It was my first time to go to a semi-final in a PSA tournament, and I was feeling like it was my first semi-final. I'm already achieving a good win. I still can win this match, but I'm not gonna put too much pressure on myself. I'm going to play, and that's it. So this is how things build up, when you feel like you have a good game, you can win this match and you don't have pressure on your shoulders. You can just go in and play. Don't think about any other thing. Nothing to lose. That's the thing that
And what stops you from having the same thought process in every match?
I believe it's the circumstances the pressure you put on yourself. And I think most of it is just in your mind. Like you always think, you're going to the other side of the world. You have flight tickets, and you're staying in a hotel, and you're doing this and you're doing that, and you have to at least have like 3-4 matches to win, and then you lose first match because of all the pressure.
Tell me very honestly, being sister of world champion, does it add to the pressure?
Not really. No, not at all. It's no, not at all. It doesn't put on me a pressure at all. That's on the other side. Actually, I always love to talk to him because he went through this a lot, and from a very early age. Like I missed 5 years of my life not playing. So at that time, he was going through what I'm going through now. So I can take all the advices from him, and Ranim, his wife, of course. They're very helpful. So maybe they're adding more confidence to me, not the other way around.
And viewers, let me tell you, it's not only her brother's wife. She's also world number what?
She's world number 1, yes, and a former world champion. Yes.
Yes, so she's also world number one, and so the whole family. I think you have your squash, and only squash within that family, mashallah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So for w- one most important aspect of your the difference between your winning, your losing, and your being in the middle. I don't know what is that one aspect you think can take you from losing, I don't know, to the winning streak.
You're talking about me specifically, or
Yes.
a sportsman in general? Me
Yeah.
specifically, I think it's big part of it is the mental side. Definitely, there is some physical side and squash that I need to add to myself, but definitely the mental aspect would I think would push me a lot further than this.
You know,
I,
I'll tell you one very interesting thing about this guy who I was coaching for the tennis, the boy. Uh, he had, as I told you, he had never won a tournament. So we had 5 sessions together before he actually went to play two tournaments, one in three tournaments, one in Holland, one in France, and one in the US.
yeah.
So he played finals of two tournaments and semi-final of one. So his mother came to me and she was really disturbed. Now, I've already told you the scenario that the boy had never ever won even one match in his life till that time, right? So he came and she said he could have won all the tournaments. He could have, taken this and that. So please, I don't know what went wrong. Why he can't go and win? And I did not reply to his mother. I called the boy inside the room and I asked the boy, son, can you please tell me what was in your mind when you went to play these tournaments? Guess what was his answer? His answer was, uh, sir, I went to play these tournaments to show my mother that I can reach the final. Could he ever win?
Yeah, of course, it's a lot of pressure on his shoulders. Definitely,
But
definitely.
his aim, his goal was only to
Only
prove that he can play the
yeah,
final, not
yeah,
win the tournament. You
yeah.
know, so whenever you go to any match or any tournament, if your aim is to win, you will win. But if your aim is that, okay, of course you need to have your preparation and everything. It's not that I just pick up a racket today and I start. When I was playing squash in the UAE, I was playing League One as well. But I knew that I can never beat Adil even at that time. So I never went out and challenged Adil because I never practiced the way he would have practiced. So I know my limitations, right? So, anyways, do you know about active visualization, Farah? Do you ever do active visualization?
Um, can you elaborate more about the activity, like visualizing the scenario of the match and putting myself into it before the match?
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, I tried, but never did it. I think properly. Like I never sat for 8 minutes, sitting completely thinking of each and every point. Going. I know it's a part of the mental training, but myself, I never did it. To be honest.
Okay. And have you ever used the imagery part? Do you know how to use the imagery in mental training?
Um, I do it. I do it, but
But, but
I think it's scattered. Like it's not like in a proper rhythm. It's always
okay,
thinking of the winning part of 1, 2, 3 points, but I don't think of the imaginary thing for the whole scenario or the whole picture.
okay. I want you to. I will give you one very interesting tip here, Farah, and that is, when is your next match or any match that you're going to play in the next few days, months? Is there anything, any tournament?
No, for the time being, because of the corona, the COVID-19, everything is on hold. So we're just preparing to whenever they say it's back, we start pushing for the tournaments. But
Okay,
I think it should be around September, maybe. I
okay,
guess there's.
great. Great. Farah, my tip for you today would be that whenever you even forget about the match, even if you are going to play for practice tomorrow, you go to for practice every day, right? And I
Yes.
think you're practicing with Adil himself. Have you ever beaten Adil,
Yes.
by the way? Have you ever beaten him in the
No.
game? Not yet? Okay. How many?
No. No. No.
Now,
Yeah.
what you're gonna do now is that tomorrow, before you go and play with him, tonight when you sleep, I want you to exactly play the game, even the nicks, even the what do you call the drop shots, everything. The way you want to play tomorrow, you will play tonight, not 8 minutes. You will spend 25 minutes tonight before you sleep. Then, when you wake up in the morning, you will spend 15 minutes and replay the match again. And when before you start the game, you will spend 5 minutes and play that part again. And then tomorrow or whenever you have time, do share with me how many times you actually played the same shot in real.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
I would definitely. Yeah.
I want you to test it. I just want you to test it. I mean, I'm not. We are not doing a session of mental strength right now, but that's a tip which I wanted to, share with you, so that that probably is going to boost your own performance. Uh,
Yeah.
before we are almost coming to our end now, so before I thank you and take your leave, I would like you to please, if something, some word of advice you would want to say for number one, youth in general, number two, sportsmen and women, and number three, for squash players.
Um, I think for the youth, I guess it's that definitely if you want to play a sport, and you should love it for you. You should be doing it for yourself. You should be happy with your achievements and try to achieve more for yourself, not for the pressure around you. And you should put since you're training anyway, you should put your 100% in each and every training. Don't go inside the court for 1 hour and play only 30 minutes focused. Like, put all your efforts and all your mind inside the 1 hour training you have. It will definitely help you, and it will pay off later as well when you're older and playing in the big league, definitely. And for everyone else, I would say that definitely the mental part that we've been talking about the whole time, that if you already did your physical part, did your training well, did everything well, don't let your mental part pull you down. Try to be prepared for that, and be ready for each and every match. Cause and don't talk negatively to yourself. Like, don't if you do something wrong, don't be very harsh on yourself and say bad things or negative things to yourself. Always push yourself more and be more positive to yourself.
And how about somebody? Would you recommend people going out for squash? And what would be your tip for the starters, the ones who are going to start their squash?
Be patient, because squash is not an easy sport. Definitely, it consumes a lot of energy, and mentally, physically, everything. It consumes you a lot. And in the beginning, even hitting the ball is not the easiest thing you can do. So you need to be very patient and know that you will definitely, at some point, after you're ready and you're hitting the ball properly and everything, it's going to be a very interesting sport, and a very nice thing to do on daily basis.
Yeah, and I tell you viewers one thing. The two most, according to my research and what I have played personally, the two most toughest games on the court are squash and basketball, because your reactions need to be very quick. You
Yeah,
don't have, you don't have much time to respond to. A basketball, still you have a bit of a time, but in squash it is split seconds, where you need to, to take a decision. Should I go forward? Should I come back? Should I stay on the tee, or I have to go and and go for a nick? So these
yeah,
things, and that's where Farah is mentioning, that you have to be really agile, physically, mentally, to
yeah,
be at the top. And remember one thing at the end: do it again and again and again. Practice and practice, physically, and remember, mentally. Both
yeah,
of them are very important. Uh,
definitely.
and Thank you very much, Farah. We are coming towards the end of our discussion. and I
Yes.
really appreciate your time and your being so honest and open about it. And inshallah, I'm sure that a few tips that I have given to you would also help you as well. And
Yeah.
feel free, please, anytime if you want any help and support from my side. Viewers, thank you very much for listening, and please do share these sentiments from Farah. May Allah bless you and all of us, inshallah, who are listening to this thing. And may Allah help us and guide us and protect us from any harm that ever would come to us. And may Allah raise your ranks, my dear sister Farah, for being a true example of a Muslimah doing everything that she can. May
Yeah.
Allah bless you for that.
Thank you so much. Thank
Jazakallah.
you for having me today. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. Thank you so
Pleasure
much.
pleasure is mine, Wayat. And viewers, thank you very much. Inshallah, we'll meet tomorrow with another sportsman from, in fact, a coach from the cricket side. You will all love to see him as well. And day after tomorrow, we'll have a kickboxer with us. So every day, they're going to be a different sportsman with us, as well as Farah. I request you on air now to ask Tariq if he can come on our one of our Baythaks. That will be lovely. If you can please request him also.
I'll,
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, viewers. Assalamu alaikum.